Arizona is so poised for sustainable health.
Interest rates are going up. They've gone up a lot over just the last month.
This flooring is from President Madison's house. They refurbished it and...
President Madison?
Yeah.
I am always blown away when I meet new salespeople, especially real estate agents, who post on Instagram once a month. And they say, well, that's not really me. Well, then the job isn't really you.
We do it in the spirit of going against the grain of the negative media, giving inspiring information, and having people walk away from our show with something of value.
You're seeing a disruption in both the real estate and the mortgage space.
A lot of people are just not willing to put in the work.
What video does is that it demands an emotional response.
You know what I love about the show? It's totally unscripted.
Welcome back to Your American Dream. I say your because these are stories for you and by you. We're sharing positive stories week by week and hoping to make a lasting impact on the nation. Today we have an incredible adventure with co-hosts Craig Sewing and Tawny Vargas. We're going to be exploring a property in Rancho Santa Fe with unprecedented entertainment value. Check it out.
We have an extra special surprise today because Jenna invited us out to Hacienda del Corazon.
House of the Heart.
Say it in Spanish. We're in San Diego.
Hacienda del Corazon.
So terrible.
I know, I sound so white. Which I know what it means, the house, the heart of the house, house of the heart. My understanding is when we find it, it's going to be a massive estate.
My understanding is we were supposed to take a right, like 6 rights ago, but that's okay.
Well, at least it's a nice neighborhood to be driving around.
Rancho Santa Fe. We got a horse arena.
That's right, Jenna did tell me that we're going to get the ride of our life here, so I don't even know what that means. I imagine, hey look, there's a horse sign.
We're getting close.
Yeah, that's got to mean something.
I can feel the love.
I can feel the whiskey bar.
Hacienda del Corazon. You could smell the whiskey. I think it is.
Is it?
I see roses.
I see a awesome estate. Wow. Wow. Mark here. I can't wait to go in.
Let's do this.
Let's do it. Game time. Ready to show me around?
I thought you were showing me around.
Let's go.
That is an unbelievable property in Rancho Santa Fe, California. At 12,000 square feet, we were probably going to get lost. But before we do, we had an amazing interview with New York's Ryan Serhant, also the star of Bravo's $1 Million Listing, and he dropped some incredible knowledge on us. So get a pen and paper and get ready to take some notes, only on The American Dream.
I'm Kara Kay with The American Dream. I get to meet with Ryan Serhant of $1 Million Listing. It's an exclusive interview and it's one you won't want to miss. Thank you again for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
With the wine in the wine room.
It couldn't be classier, in my opinion.
I know, it's very classy. I should have worn a tie.
So I know that you know the importance of TV and media. How important do you think that is in real estate today?
I think media is incredibly important in all businesses. I think any business that does anything for marketing in any way, shape, or form is now a media company. I mean, if you're a real estate brokerage like I am in New York City, we don't build the apartments, we don't build the buildings. We're not really real estate brokers, we're media brokers, right? I find different ways to market my properties via media. And so for me, television has been huge.
Sure, I think you, of all people, know the importance of getting exposure to listings, which is why you've gotten into TV and media. Now talk about the transition into how important it is to be social as well as on TV.
Yeah, I think that if you're a salesperson, right, which is what the book is for, is anybody who sells anything, you're really selling yourself, right? You're creating a relationship. You sometimes have to talk about the product. Sometimes you have to go into the price. Sometimes you have to go into the features. You need to have all that information, but that's what you need to do. That's the job, right? Everything else, especially through social media, especially through different forms of media, is building that relationship passively, right? This, you and I talking right now, is an active communication, building a relationship. Right. But I can hit so many more people through social,
right,
through YouTube, through LinkedIn articles. People talk about passive income all the time. For salespeople and for a lot of people in our generation, kind of the gig generation, we have passive relationships, our passive income, because those will turn into other sources of work for us down the line, and we just don't even know what they are.
If you are talking to a realtor who really wants to make it tomorrow and in the future, what advice would you give them?
I am always blown away when I meet new salespeople, especially real estate agents, who post on Instagram once a month, who aren't doing anything on YouTube or on Facebook or on Twitter, and they say, well, that's not really me. Well, then the job isn't really you. You can't sit there and complain about not having business or sit there and complain about how the market's so tough if you're not actively doing things that are under your control. And what's under your control is putting out media. There's so many different places to absorb content these days, and so many real places to hit real people, to target them directly in your neighborhood, on your block, like that age group. It's all about consistency.
Are you ready to cheers to your book and all your success?
Sure.
Okay.
Are we drinking this?
Yeah,
Are we chugging
I know
it?
nothing about wine.
So we're cheersing to the American Dream?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that again.
Okay.
So it's for real.
Okay,
Cheers.
cheers.
All right.
To the American Dream.
It doesn't get any better than Ryan Serhant. I mean, there is a reason why millions of people follow him every single week. We're lucky to have him on the show. And right now, we're gonna go back to Rancho Santa Fe and see what Craig and Tawny are up to. Check it out.
Now this is an estate. This is an entertainer's dream. Tawny, can I saddle up with you?
Sure.
In this full bar?
Have you ever seen an estate with its own saloon?
No, I've never been in a place like this. This flooring is from President Madison's house. They refurbished it and...
President Madison?
Yeah. So like from his house, this flooring from his house is now in this pad that we're sitting right now in front of this bar.
Well, I think I'm feeling a little presidential.
Yeah?
So I think this calls for a shot.
Shot, cocktail, shot, right, let's do it. We wouldn't be doing this bar justice if we didn't take a shot.
Well, I'm feeling classy, so how about the bad stuff?
All right, coming right up. 2 shots of bad stuff.
It's a classic.
Here I have your bad stuff. So I'm gonna pour us a couple shots, but I mean, could you imagine hosting a party here? This could serve hundreds of people.
And if this is your house, you're gonna be the most popular kid, and I promise you, everybody's gonna come party at your house.
Well, this is a great place to host them.
A few more of these, I think you'll be dancing on that stage over there.
I might get on that stage. Depends how we have to get along with the horse arena a little bit later, though.
Oh,
We'll
yeah?
Check that out later. Do some things out there, have some fun.
Something?
Yeah,
Let's have
do
some
something.
fun.
It ain't my first rodeo.
In the midst of the darkest night,
Hacienda del Corazon is a classic property in Rancho Santa Fe.
chains that were holding me. You sent your son down to set me free. Everything
This property was originally constructed around the same idea of lifestyle that Rancho Santa Fe was founded on, and that is a simpler and a slower lifestyle.
Every time I walk through this house, I see another detail that blows my mind, but my favorite part about the home is that there's this incredible indoor-outdoor space that is accessible in every room. Living in Southern California and having so many beautiful sunny days, it's wonderful to be able to have all of your doors and windows open.
Floors from President Madison in your own private saloon. These are the sorts of things that I didn't even know I wanted until I saw them. This is an amazing way to entertain, but right now we're gonna check out how they entertain in your city.
Welcome back to the show. Well, now we are talking about the real estate industry and economy in Arizona with my next two guests. I want to welcome onto the American Dream Stephanie Gonzalez, COO and Managing Partner of North & Co., and John Angelo, Realtor and owner at the Angelo Group. Thank you both so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
So, Stephanie, I want to start with you. How do you feel about the current and long-term economic health of Arizona?
I think that we are living in such a fast food drive-through society that we can sometimes often not see the horizon and all of the positive factors that are ahead of us. Arizona, and more specifically Maricopa County, is so poised for sustainable health, from jobs, economy, relocating, you name it, relocating companies, relocating families, to local resources and innovation. I think we are so well poised for long-term, healthy stability.
I think that's a fantastic answer, and that's some good news, Stephanie. John, how does Stephanie's response and what you're seeing right now with the economic health of Arizona, how does that affect the real estate landscape?
If you look at the two pieces, you have the residential side and the retail side where we play, and they both kind of play off of each other. So we're fortunate that we have a very strong inbound market. We have many people that are moving here. So it's great when there are more bodies here. That means there's more business here. That means there's going to be more commercial here. There's more development here. So just that nice population growth that we're back to again is really helping drive things on the residential side as well as the commercial side. And it looks like that's gonna be around for a while.
In just the last week, I heard about a large Atlanta investor, New York investor, California investor that are moving significant funds out here to help develop and build multifamily homes. That's huge.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, Stephanie, you're mentioning multifamily homes, but there's really a changing demographic. There's a real diversity happening in Phoenix, and we've got everything from millennials to the elderly and everything in between. How does your local real estate industry, how are you flexing, how are you catering to those changing needs?
Well, I think it's interesting. You know, we kind of call it, or it looks like a dumbbell effect, right? You have the baby boomers on one side, those 55 plus, that, Arizona has kind of been known for decades to be a place where they could come, retire, stay super active, be connected. We're so close.
Totally.
Phoenix is an hour plane flight from Mexico and California and Colorado, and all over the place, right? So that part of it, we've always had that built in. I think on the millennial side, you're seeing so many other things happen, from stuff that's happening at Arizona State University, Grand Canyon University, Creighton out of Omaha is putting their medical school right in the heart of downtown Phoenix, along with Thunderbird, the graduate school. So there's a lot going on that younger end too, to attract people, hold people, keep people engaged in what's going on in the economy. And especially when we talk about where some of this money is being placed, it's not like we're just building these massive subdivisions on the outskirts of the city like we've had in the past. There is so much density happening from the core out. We're really becoming a real urban area where we haven't had that before.
John has lived here. He has deep roots here. He grew up here. I've lived here almost 14 years. And to watch the transformation just over the last, for me, 14 years, you beyond that, 10, 20 years ago, we really only had a couple different verticals and a couple different industries local here, hospitality being one really big one. And to look at the landscape now where we have multiple verticals of industry coming here, from finance to industrial to medical, technology, we are really well poised here in Phoenix, and it's super exciting.
It is. I think that we just missed really taking off with all of this as the last cycle maybe spiraled down a little bit. And I think people just kind of took a step back, waited, got their footing again, and now we're taking off like we thought we were going to continue before the market kind of had its downturn in 2008. So I think long-term people have a vision here. It's such a, we're Phoenix. We're rising out of the ashes. We're truly, that name really, really fits what's going on here, the people that are here, the opportunity that's here. We're a great place to be as far as you can be an outsider and come to Phoenix with a great idea and make it go. There's not a lot of nepotism here. There's not a lot of, hey, you haven't proven yourself here before, you're not welcome. We're a very welcoming place with a very more diverse population than we've ever had, and I think it shows.
Such exciting news coming out of Phoenix. Thank you both so much for your time today.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back with more of The American Dream.
Never been in a horse stable in California before. I've been in a lot of real estate, but nothing like this. This is cool.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Grew up in horses all my life. And this is honestly one of the coolest.
So Jenna is going to show us around, take us on some of these horses, but I'm kind of noticing there's not any here. This thing could hold 7 or 8 of them, I think.
Yeah, it could hold you. You could live here.
I could live here. All right, well, you're the one who grew up in a barn. So what about these horses? All right, and there she is. Hey, Jenna.
Hi. I know. I promised you guys horses, and there are no horses here today. But the good news is the owners took them down to the Del Mar racetrack, and we have the whole place to ourselves, and I have something super exciting planned. We have 400 horses up at the garage.
400 horses in the garage. All right. Let's check it out. All right.
So this is what I really wanted to show you, the toy garage.
What a garage, a lot of toys.
We have motorcycles, motorized bicycles,
Yep.
a classic Chevelle.
This is a beast. Now this is a nice car. I don't even want to touch it because I don't get my fingerprints on it.
But what you get to go out and have some fun with is this razor.
So this is the horses.
This is it.
So I get to drive this?
Go have fun.
All right. Can I bring Tawny with me?
Of course.
Wow.
Go rip it
All
up.
right. Let's go cruising this beast. I'm gonna go grab Tawny and we're gonna go tear it up.
Now, remember, be gentle. The owners aren't here.
All right, got it. Giddy up. Let's do this.
If you would take all the posters on my walls growing up as a kid and put all the cars together, it would be that garage. I mean, that property is absolutely amazing and something that dreams are made of. But right now, we're gonna check out your agent in your city.
Thanks for joining us on The American Dream. Today's guest is none other than the beautiful Amanda Todd. Thanks, Amanda, for joining us today. You are, again, the realtor and a national speaker of the Amanda Todd Group. How are you today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, always nice to have you on set to talk about the expertise of real estate, right? Interesting market that we're facing right now. As you mentioned, interest rates and a market that's slowing down. So what are some things some buyers can look out for?
Well, definitely interest rates are going up. They've gone up a lot over just the last month even. And so what that does is that impacts how much a buyer can really afford in their payment. So it's pretty easy. There's some ways if you do some tricky negotiating that you can help really mitigate those rising interest rates.
So with buyers, when we're talking about looking into property, what kind of property should buyers look out for that maybe indicate a motivated seller?
Definitely a property that's been on the market for a long time. Right now we're seeing properties that were put on the market during the summer when things were a little bit hotter, both proverbially and literally. Yeah. But people were really trying to capture that summer season and they might have been priced a little bit high. So now sellers are going to be a lot more motivated as their house has been on the market for a few months. So definitely look for something that's been on the market for a long time or something that's had a lot of price reductions because that would indicate a motivated seller too. So there's ways around it. especially if you ask for something like a seller credit, something like that, you can actually use that to buy down your interest rate so then you don't feel those higher rates as much.
That makes a lot of sense. So more leverage for a buyer in this regard, right? Because you're right, there's some things that you can ask for in the midst of putting in an offer, right? Are you seeing a lot of those suggestions in the contract being accepted, or are you seeing a lot of counter offers back?
Oh, definitely. I am getting more and more seller credits accepted right now because it's a way that the buyers can mitigate by rising interest rates, and the sellers really at this point, especially if their home's been on the market since this summer, they're pretty eager to sell. So they're really happy when they do get an offer if it's been on the market for a long time.
Very well. All right. Well, thanks so much for all your input. Once again, it's always great to have someone with the expertise and the professionalism that you have. Thanks again for being with us on the show, and looking forward to next time.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks for joining us, and we'll have more to come. Stay with us.
Welcome back to The American Dream. Well, now we're getting some mortgage insight with my next guest, Kelly Zitlow. She's the VP of Cornerstone Home Lending. Kelly, great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me, Jen.
So, Kelly, I heard of a new law that's recently passed that allows people to freeze their credit. Tell us what this is about.
Yeah, so as you know, one of the major 3 credit bureaus had a massive security breach in July of 2017, in the tune of it affecting 148 million people in our country. And so there was this recent law that just took effect that allows people to freeze and unfreeze their credit reports and do that for free. And the reason that this is so important is the result of that big breach, and that just wasn't the only breach that's taken place in this country over the last couple years, but the answer to it, or the solution, was to freeze your credit, which is fine other than there was a charge to do so depending on the state. And that charge could have been anywhere from $3 to $12 per credit bureau. So it was becoming very costly for people to protect themselves from identity theft. And so the credit freeze now with this new law makes it free to freeze and unfreeze our credit reports with the 3 major credit bureaus.
Fantastic news. Kelly, thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You as well. And we'll be right back with more of The American Dream.
Well, that's it for this episode of The American Dream. I don't know how I ended up in the studio when Craig and Tawny got to ride that thing out in Rancho Santa Fe. Either way, if you have a property that you think would be perfect for The American Dream, or you have a story that you think that we should shoot out all over the nation, we would love to hear from you. And until the next episode, I hope you keep dreaming, and thanks for stopping by.
Till you come back.